Hello everyone! Welcome to a world of imagination. Today let's listen to a heartwarming story we have entitled The Nymph in the Library. The library had always been quiet. That was how Lenore liked it, orderly, predictable, filled with the hushed murmur of turning pages and muffled footsteps on worn carpet. She preferred things to stay this way, in perfect control. No late returns. No torn pages. No children shouting in the aisles. Chaos had no place among her carefully catalogued books. At 40 years old, Lenore was known as the strict, no-nonsense librarian who could silence even the most unruly patrons with a single glance. And there was something unsettling about that glance, a strange, luminous quality to her pale green eyes, as though they saw too much, as though they belonged to someone far older than her appearance suggested. What no one knew was that Lenore wasn't quite human. Long ago, in a time before cities and streets, she had lived as a wood nymph, an immortal spirit of the forest. She had danced with the wind, sung with the rivers, and lived free among ancient trees. But that life ended the day she met Arthur, a professor who had come into her forest to study plants and stumbled, instead, into love. Nymphs weren't meant to fall in love with mortals. The gods warned against it, but Lenore didn't listen. She gave up the forest, took human form, and stayed with Arthur for as long as his mortal life allowed. But love had a cost. When Arthur passed away, Lenore was left trapped, an immortal being bound in human skin, forced to live on in a world that had forgotten magic. The only thing that could release her now was true love's kiss. Decades passed, and she settled into her role as a librarian, creating her own small world of books and rules. She told herself that love would never find her again. And she tried not to long for the woods, though her heart still ached with every autumn breeze that stirred the leaves. It was during one of these ordinary days at the library that he showed up. A boy, no older than 10, with a mess of dark hair and clothes too big for him. He slouched through the door, head down, clutching a tattered backpack. At first, Lenore barely noticed him. Just another child wandering through. But then he kept coming back, day after day, staying longer each time. He never made noise, never caused trouble. He simply sat in a corner with a pile of books, reading for hours. For reasons she couldn't quite understand, Lenore found herself watching him. She noticed how carefully he treated the books, the way his lips silently shaped the words as he read. She learned that his name was Noah and that his favorite books were adventures, stories of heroes and far-off lands where anything was possible. They started off wary of each other, like two animals circling, unsure if the other could be trusted. When Lenore asked him questions, did you enjoy the ending? What did you think of the hero? Noah would respond with a shrug, never saying much. But slowly the conversations grew longer. Soon, they were talking not just about books but about other things, his favorite foods, the games he played at recess, and, eventually, the things that weighed heavier on him. He told her about his mom, who was sick and bedridden most days. His dad worked long hours to pay the bills, leaving Noah to fend for himself much of the time. Lenore felt something stir within her as she listened, a quiet ache, a tenderness she hadn't allowed herself to feel in years. She found herself setting aside books she thought Noah would like. And each time he came, she made sure to have a snack waiting, a sandwich, some cookies, a juice box. Noah grew more comfortable around her, and she found that she liked having him there. The library didn't feel so empty anymore. His presence was a small, warm light in the quiet, controlled world she had built for herself. Then, one gray afternoon, Noah came in with red-rimmed eyes and a slumped posture. He didn't head for the shelves as usual. Instead, he walked straight to her desk, clutching the straps of his backpack like it was the only thing holding him together. "She's gone," he whispered. Lenore knew instantly what he meant. His mother had died. She saw the raw grief in his eyes, and without thinking, she stood and pulled him into her arms. It was the first time she had hugged anyone in years. Noah trembled against her, and she held him tighter, feeling his small, fragile body shake with silent sobs. "It's going to be okay," she murmured, stroking his messy hair. "I've got you." For a long time, they stayed like that, two lonely souls finding comfort in each other's presence. And then, without warning, Noah lifted his tear-streaked face and kissed her on the cheek. The moment his lips brushed her skin, something ancient and powerful stirred deep within Lenore. Magic surged through her, filling every part of her being with a brilliant, golden light, She gasped as her human form began to unravel, the skin she had worn for so long peeling away like the petals of a flower. Noah stepped back, his eyes wide with amazement as Lenore transformed before him. Her pale green eyes glowed brighter, her hair shimmered like sunlight on water, and her skin took on a soft, ethereal glow. She was no longer a woman bound by human form, she was a nymph once more, wild and free. For a moment, the two of them simply stared at each other. Then Noah broke the silence. "You're glowing," he said, blinking in awe. Lenore smiled, feeling lighter than she had in centuries. "Yes, I am." Noah looked confused, but not afraid. "What does this mean?" "It means," Lenore said gently, "that you gave me something I thought I'd never have again." Noah frowned. "What did I give you?" She knelt down so they were eye level, her glowing hand resting on his shoulder. "You gave me love." Noah sniffled and wiped his nose on his sleeve. "So what happens now?" Lenore smiled, and it was a smile filled with both sorrow and joy. "Now we take care of each other. I'll be with you, Noah. I promise. You'll never be alone." The boy's face softened, and though he didn't say it aloud, Lenore knew that her promise meant more to him than any storybook ever could. As they stood there in the quiet library, the weight of loss still fresh between them, something new began to bloom, something fragile and beautiful, like the first green shoot pushing through winter's snow. Life would go on with all its challenges and heartaches. But they would face it together. And though Lenore would never again be bound by human skin, she knew that love, true, unselfish love, had finally set her free. And that, she thought, was the most magical thing of all. The end. Thank you for listening. Do subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell.